Because she is unprofessional. Because she does not run a professional workplace. How does a Swalwell situation happen? Because women who speak up are punished for it, and men are protected and propelled and promoted. That's what happened at the Ohio House. A young man was bad. The House thought he was bad enough to give him an unpaid suspension. A long one. A Republican senior staffer told me he was accused of sexual assault, and he was protected. And women who talked about him were punished. I was fired, and another woman was written up for an ethics violation. A young woman. Terrible. Swalwell situations happen because this happens all the time. Because even women, like Allison Russo, are complicit in the systems of protecting men, just to get a little bit of something for themselves. Or even worse, just to avoid the discomfort of dealing with something icky. Allison stuck her head in the sand when there was a sexual assault allegation. That is what I raised concerns about. The mishandling of the allegation against that man and the retaliation against women for talking about it. That's how she handled violence in the workplace. Allison also did nothing when I reported that Jordan pushed me up against a wall. She only put on a fake show of concern for staff, when it was politically expedient, when she wanted to attack one of her members that she didn't like. A member whose crime was being the annoying, weird, neurodivergent guy. That was his crime. Anybody who knows anything about this inside baseball story knows that's the truth. I have yet to meet one person who actually thought that this former member was violent or suicidal. That's what Allison said about him. He could be highly annoying. I'll give you that much. Let me just say, if there's something that I talk about and you all don't know what it is, you gotta Google it or watch my other videos. I can't make every video an hour long. How long do you want these things to be? I get some comments like that sometimes and I'm like, sorry. I want to put every bit of the story in every video, of course. I can't do that. Anyway, the hell that Allison rained down on former member Elliot Forhan, I just wanted her to do 1/4 of that about the actual allegation of violence that I raised concerns about months earlier, that actually endangered staff. But she wouldn't do it because she is unprofessional, because she does not run a professional workplace, because that would not get her headlines. So she looked the other way on the real dangers to staff in the workplace. I think you all would be very disappointed had you been sitting there with me and her in those rooms. Her avoidant behavior is shocking. It's like a childish, sit very still, pretend it's not happening, ignore it and it'll go away approach to problems or things that she doesn't want to deal with. And then the rage that comes if the problem is not whisked away from her presence. It's quite a scene. It's also uncommon. No other leader that I worked for behaved like this. All of the others were normal, functioning grown-ups and professionals. And yet some people assume that Allison is some accomplished girl boss. Is that because she just lives in the right zip code? And people are impressed by that or intimidated by that? Really? There are good people in her zip code, but there's bad ones too. So anyway, Allison made this big spectacle about the former member, Forhan, and she just played it for applause a few days ago at the forum that I was at. But she wouldn't do jack shit when I raised concerns about violence. I just got a public records request response back a few days ago. I asked for records of how Allison handled my report that Jordan pushed me up against a wall. And Allison and her attorneys, Sarah Ingalls and Bethany Sanders, are hiding behind and misapplying attorney-client privilege. They won't share the records. Records of any inquiry into something like this are not attorney-client privileged. You cannot just hide things by involving a lawyer, especially when you put on a big public show when it came to the former member. Why the different treatment, Allison? Why couldn't you run a professional workplace behind the scenes? Big spectacle when she wants headlines. But she's hiding records today, right now, about the concerns that I raised. It's not transparent. It's not bold. It's not standing up for women. It's covering up for men. It's covering up for Allison's inaction and blasé attitude about what was done to women behind the scenes. So shame on her and her enablers. What are we all doing to create a culture that doesn't punish women who speak up, that prevents the next Eric Swalwell situation? A culture that protects women, propels them, promotes them, not just when it gets you headlines, but every day. What are we doing with our power? Because everybody has a little bit. Professionalism, character, integrity, honesty, these things all matter, and Allison should be judged by hers. See you soon.